Y'all, it's time for my Go Wild 2025 recap as well as a little memory keeping. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For those of you that may be new, welcome. My name is Tracy and this is a girl with plans. So yes, I have a bunch of stuff on my desk. We'll try to quickly go through some of this because like I said, it's a lot. But what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to play around in my memory keeping journal. And as I do that, I'll do a voiceover where I will kind of tell you a little bit about my Go Wild 2025 experience, my overall thoughts, things like that. Yeah, I just figured it might be more of interest to you if I'm doing something. You can maybe see me trying to be creative in my journal while I tell you about my experience. So you guys may have seen this if you've seen my other memory keeping videos or my setups for Go Wild. This is my Go Wild's memory keeping journal. So it has memories in here from last year, and then I'm going to be putting some memories in here for this year. So last year's took up a lot of pages. I took a lot of pictures last year. It was my first year. There we go. This year was a little bit more in the moment, so there's not as many photos. Plus it was a little bit, it was smaller and things like that, and I kind of, treated it more as a vacation, so I don't have as many Go Wild photos. However, like I said, I think you might enjoy seeing some memory keeping, hopefully. So yeah, I did videos of me setting up some of these pages, so definitely be sure to check it out. I have a playlist. I will link the playlist down below. It'll also show up at the end of the video in the cards. Basically, I did a setup of the title page and a few pages just to kind of get the ball rolling. Chance to be creative pre-Go Wild. But yeah, most of my stickers, actually, I think pretty much all of the stickers that I used in this journal thus far for Indianapolis, I used printable stickers from Constance. There weren't as many sticker shops that were doing Go Wild stickers this year, and this was a new to me shop. I have seen the name around, but I've never really explored, and oh my gosh, I think I'm a fan. I think I am a fan now, and I probably will be buying more because I just love the vibe. They're so different, but they're so fun. So yeah, I use a lot of her stickers, like the paper and the llama here, and then I coupled it with clip art that I got from Canva Pro. As well as some images I got from like the Go Wild website. But like this is all Constance. Like that's Go Wild. I mean, that's Canva. I don't know why I want to say Go Wild. I'm reading this. Some of these things here came from old sticker books from last year. So I did the schedule already. I wrote that in here. I usually handwrite it every year. We didn't actually get a printable one, but this is fine for me. I do like to have a copy of the schedule in here because usually the schedules get released a little late. This year was like a couple days before. I just like to have an idea. I don't know what it will do for me, but it's also when I'm memory keeping, I don't have to kind of rewrite things throughout the planner. I can just refer to this. And then I did this on camera with you guys. This ended up turning into a little flap here because, I messed up. So I made roomy. So this is going to be my roomy page. This might be my roomy page, and this might be my roomy page. So yeah, we have that. And then you guys saw me do the Dutch doors here. On that video. That was a hot mess, but it was fun. It all worked out. After the fact, I went and added photos of the speakers. These are just images that I got from the Instagram account, from Wild for Planners Instagram account, and then I removed the background and just print it and cut it with my Cricut. So I'm going to write like quotes. I have some quotes. I did take my little journal with me, and I took a decent amount of notes, especially on day one. Actually, no, I took a decent amount on day 2 as well. So I'll like pop in a few quotes or whatever, but I'm gonna hold off because like last year some people posted some quotes and things like that in the Facebook attendees group, and I'm like, I might get some better quotes. So we'll see, because sometimes, like I said, I'm in the moment, and when I'm in the moment, not only do I forget to take pictures, I'll also forget to write notes. So yeah, but I like how this turned out. So yeah, I just added colorful boxes. These are the panels, so I'll probably write here founders panel. I'm missing one photo. It was a late addition. So I need to get all that set. And then this was like the mental health panel on day 2. So these are 2 separate panels. But yeah, it's fine. And then this was the day 2 speakers. All right, and then that's it. So I did have some stuff stuck in here because one of my table mates had given me this really cool pocket that you could put in your planner. Of course, I could put it in the back to hold stuff, but I really want to put it here. And then I'm going to put my room key in here as well. So that's why I had this stuck in here, because I didn't want to forget about it. And then I have a photo of the hotel room. And I have like a photo of the hotel. Let me cut that out real quick. So I'm going to go through my supplies and then we're just going to get to it. Because I don't want this video to be crazy long. So obviously I'll be speeding up some of my decorating and stuff like that. But photos. So I did, while I was sitting in the airport waiting to come home, which was Tuesday, I went ahead and ordered photo prints from Walmart. I do have a mini Canon Ivy printer that I absolutely love. It's just the sticker paper. It gets a little expensive when you want to print a lot, and I wanted to print a lot. So I just found it cheaper to do Walmart. And I do the collage prints. What is holding? Oh. So I just want to kind of show you, I always, share this. These are just 4x6 photos, and I do the collage. So you could see like the 3s. So obviously if you just want it 2 to a page, it'll be that big. But then I also did some 6 to a print. Those are still really good size prints, And then of course there's your 4. So just kind of wanted to share that with you. If you don't have printers at home and you want to kind of get in some memory keeping, a lot of the photo places are really, really cheap. Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, whatever. Like I said, I think these were 14 cents each. So I paid $2 and like 50 cents for these, and it was delivered because I have Walmart Plus. But I also got some extra photos for my travel journal and for my memory keeper for when I went on a work trip too. So I got a decent amount of photos printed. But that's what I'm going to use. Like I said, I'm going to do this. This is going to be for my hotel room. And then this will be, I put some information on my roomie. I have my roomie card here. So what I might do is take this off. I'll probably put a photo of her there because why not, right? This might go over here too. This was at our hotel, but it's like a little map. Do I want this here? I might want this somewhere else. I don't know, but I might write some of the fun stuff that we did. I had said some silly quotes. I don't know if she said any silly quotes, because I could write some silly quotes that she said, but I said some really silly quotes sometimes. But I could put photos. I might just put some photos here. So I might write what we did and then just do a photo collage here. So this just might be a burst of fun. And then the speakers, like I said, and then I don't know where to start. So basically what is on my desk, I said I was going to go through. I showed you the pictures. I have some remaining printables from Constance. Some probably, let me pull the paper that I printed, because that's going to be the background to a lot of stuff. I think it's these two. Yeah. And then the washi strips I made myself. Basically there were images that I found on Canva, and then I just kept doing a repeating pattern to create the washi strips. Like I said, a lot of these were available on Canva Pro. I do have a pro account. So I think I'm going to use some of these to probably maybe do some waterfall tabs or something like that for when I get to the picture section or to the contact card section, just because why not, right? Then I have Keleva Plans sticker sheets. These are the stickers that we got at Go Wild. Not sure if I'm going to use the boxes or not. These can be used anytime. Not sure if I'm going to use the florals, because again, they can be used for anything. But I am going to use all of these. So I did go to the Indianapolis Speedway So I'm probably going to use some of that. I feel like the cars are so cute. So I'll probably use some of that. And then of course this, and there was one more. What did I do with the other sticker sheet? Because I had a purpose for it. Oh, I was going to use it for the wild crop night. So that reminds me. So here I'm going to do wild crop. Here we go. Got stuff everywhere. So I'm going to put like their pictures here just so I know what it is. And I think I'm going to write what they actually did because the titles of the sessions were actually, I have another Amy. Yeah, Amy Williams. Yeah. I was like, is that the right one? Yeah. So like annotating, I might even attempt at some point. We'd like learn how to draw like something. I don't remember now. But it's in my notebook. Because she was drawing in her book, y'all, in the book, like the book that, you know, a reading book. Yes, scary. So I'll put that here. I'll probably put some photos because I have a good amount of things that are in my box. So I stuffed stuff in here so I will remember to use it. So this is one thing I want to use. Is this, which is the book swap thing. I have pictures of my book. I have also stickers from the book. I'll look through that when I go to do it. I have like the person who I got the book for. I got the Uglies, like the YA book, the Uglies. They actually had it decorated and I took a picture and I'm gonna pop up pictures as I go through things. So that way you can kind of see what I'm talking about too. And then they had an actual photo of the book as one of the little extras that was in their little, they made it look really cute. You'll see. So I might put that on the page as well. But yeah, so in here I have my contact cards. I have stickers that I know I'm going to want to use. I have this really cute card that I don't know if we got one of these last year. It's a really sweet, letter on the back, and I was just gonna like cut this out or like use this as a background, but I kind of want to keep that open to see it, so I might end up using it as a flip out and then put something else under it, because it would fit here. Like I could put washi, you flip it up, and then I'll have some stuff under it. So maybe we'll do some of that fun stuff. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to do everything that I said I was going to do today. I have my plane tickets because at one point I thought about doing like a background of my plane, but I didn't really have any exciting travel things. I did meet my roomie at the airport during my like layover, which was really cool. We were able to do that. So, I mean, that was part of it. So, I mean, I could do that and put that there and then write about it or something. I don't know. Decisions. I got to make these decisions because it's going to affect the order. And then we did go eat at the Cake Bake. Cake Bake, not the Cake Bake, Cake Bake. And they asked, like, are you celebrating anything? Well, my birthday. So we went on Friday during our break, and my birthday was the following Wednesday. And I told them that. I was like, yeah, well, my birthday's coming up on Wednesday. We could say that. So first of all, they put like balloons to my, like, at my seat. These are like cute little pencils that held them down. So, you know, I had to deflate it before I left. I don't know if I'm going to put this in my journal or not. Y'all, I'm like new to this scrapbooking. I don't junk journal or scrapbook. I pretend that I do by using stickers, but we're going to try to use some real materials, but I don't know if I'm that if I'm that brave. But, you know, these coloring sheets, I got some of these. I'm so impressed that they didn't get bent. I thought I had two. Maybe I just got one. I don't know. But I think I'm going to rip this and use this as a background. Hey, that's kind of junk journaling, right? And then I can put like this on it. It looks like it got a little messed up. It might have been already like that, but wishing you a magical birthday. May all your pixie glitter wishes come true. It's so cute. So I'm going to use that. I have the bag. I might cut the bag apart. So that way you have something entertaining to watch. You know, when I open up these memory keeping journals and I say I'm going to try new things, you know, you're going to have an adventure ahead because it is always a hot mess. I show you what not to do. All right. So with that said, I think I kind of went over the supplies. I've chatted way too much. I am now going to switch it to a voiceover and kind of talk about my experience, and I'll speed through some of the decorating. All right, guys. So as I do my kind of recap of the conference, it's not going to coincide with the pages that I'm actually setting up in my journal because some of these pages took forever to do. And I don't think you guys want me to spend that long talking about that topic. So I will say this was, first of all, this was only my second Go Wild conference. I went to Dallas last year. And that's all I really have to compare it to. I've never been to any other planner conferences. So I'm just kind of talking about like my overall feelings. I don't have, like I said, I don't have much to compare it to. I only have last year. So going in, I was a little bit nervous. I was a lot nervous. First of all, I initially wasn't even planning on going to Go Wild this year. They released the date and the city really late, like toward the end of last year. And I was already kind of like, I don't know if I'm going to go back to back. I might skip a couple years and then go again because it is expensive. I have no idea how much I spent yet because I haven't added it up. I'm kind of refusing to do that at the moment because I spent a lot this year. But I can tell you, I'll just put this out up front. The ticket was like $750, give or take, all in with your taxes and fees. Because I think it was like $649 or something, but I think it might have been like $725 or something because it was like $649. But then you have to add these fees, and those fees are like $75, y'all. I just wish they would not, like, and I'm not talking about Go Wilds, I'm talking about general. I just wish they would just show you the total after fees. Like, I don't want to have a cheaper rate showed and then I'm paying a lot more. Just show me the price it's going to cost me. So that was very expensive. I think a lot of conferences are about $300-$400 cheaper, if not more cheap, less than that. But so it's very expensive. The conference was held at the JW Marriott, which is a very nice hotel. One of the nicer hotels I've ever stayed at. I think the rate was like $249 a night. Again, taxes were kind of expensive, made it over $300 a night. This year I did have a roommate. Last year I didn't. So last year I paid $1,300 for lodging, a little over $1,300 for lodging, and I stayed Wednesday through Sunday. This year we stayed Wednesday through Tuesday. So we stayed 6 nights. We stayed 5 nights at the JW. There were no conference rate rooms available on Wednesday. There was a conference going on in the city at the convention center, which is connected to the JW. That was a huge, I don't know if it was a conference or more a convention, but it was like a sweets and snacks convention. I mean, that would have been fun to go into. Like, we took a peek in there. You could see all kinds of vendors, M&Ms, and it probably would have been a good time. But it was so many of them that they pretty much booked up the entire hotel. And the rooms that were available were going at the regular rate, which was like $600 and some dollars, y'all. So yeah, we stayed at a $600 and some dollar a night hotel for like half the price. So anyways, that first night we stayed at the Courtyard Marriott, which was actually connected to the JW by like inside, like it was like on the 3rd floor. You can just walk through. So that was super nice. And it was about the same rate that we paid for the conference rate. So I think I paid a little less than $1,000. I paid a little over $900. It was $900 and some dollars was my portion of the lodging, which means for me and my roommate, we were looking at like $1,800. But like I said, my portion was $900. If I was going solo, I would not have stayed 6 nights, but we were treating this as a vacation. So like right there, you can see we're almost at $2,000 just with the ticket and the lodging. I did not have to pay for the flight. I used miles. So I paid like $12 total for the flight because of miles, and bags were included too. So I didn't have to pay for bags or anything like that. So, basically for lodging, and the ticket, like I said, we were almost at $2,000. I think we spent like $120 some dollars on Ubers because we like Ubered everywhere. When we walked a mile plus exploring the city and we didn't want to walk a mile plus back, we were like, let's get an Uber. Plus like we went to Indianapolis Speedway and stuff like that. So we did a lot. So that actually wasn't that bad. And that includes to and from the airport too. So $128 for 6 days for transportation is not that bad. And then we halved it. So that just kind of gives you an idea of what I spent, as far as like essentials of what most people would have to spend anyway, because food is kind of variable. Especially, I ended up getting a drink with most of my meals. So that also added to it. Okay, now that that's out the way. So yeah, I was a little nervous about going just because of the dates took a long time to come out. The reason why I went is because my birthday was a few days after the conference ended. And I was like, I know I'm going to have like severe FOMO, and I'm even more than FOMO, I'm going to regret it if I don't go, because it's right by my birthday and I'm going to be sad when I'm not doing anything for my birthday. So that's why I went. But I had already like seen that a lot of people weren't going to be going, because May is just not a time that people can go to conferences because school's ending, vacations are starting, and things like that. And then I was also a little nervous because last year in the Facebook attendee group, there was like well over 1,500 people in the group. There was like 500 and some people in the group this year. I was like, ooh, that's not a good sign. So I did lower my expectations a little bit, because I feel like, you lower them a little bit and then you can be pleasantly surprised. And let's just say I was more than pleasantly surprised. So hotel, fabulous. Like I said, super, super nice. Loved it. Probably will never be able to afford to stay at one without a conference rate ever. But it was really nice. Staff, great. We had a Walmart delivery for some groceries. And the guys up front was like, oh, no, we'll take it up to your room for you. Not only did they take it up to the room, they actually put the refrigerated stuff in the fridge. Super nice. But yeah, super nice hotel. Enjoyed it. The location, I didn't know what to expect of Indy. Indy was never a place I wanted to really go for no reason. I mean, I'm not knocking on Indy. It's just not, when you think about where you want to go in the U.S., it just wasn't one of those places that ever popped in my head. So I didn't know what to expect. I really enjoyed it. And the location to me was a little bit better than Dallas. So I've actually gone to Dallas twice. I went for a work conference where we stayed in downtown Dallas. And downtown Dallas is not fun. Everything closed early. But last year at the Go Wild conference, it wasn't near downtown. It was actually in Arlington. It was by Cowboy Stadium. There was nothing around there. Nothing. You had live was there, and that had like some restaurants and some bars. So that was like your only options. There was nothing to go and really explore. So you had food nearby last year, but you didn't have anything to explore unless you can kind of figure out where you wanted to go see and take a cab. Or Uber. This was in downtown Indianapolis, which actually wasn't that big. I was kind of surprised. There wasn't a lot of high rises or anything like that there. But there was a lot to do within walking distance. So that was great. Okay, let me actually get to the conference, because a lot of you probably don't care about all of this. But the reason why I say it is because I really enjoyed the exploring and the stuff I did outside the conference, which really made this conference super special for me, because I can't really separate the two. I can't separate the conference from what I did outside the conference. So just the location, being in the actual city, a lot to do around there, it just made it a lot more enjoyable for me. So that's the reason why I've been talking about it for like 10 minutes. So yeah. All right. So registration. So like I said, we got there on Wednesday. Registration was on Thursday. I think registration started at 11. We were actually able to switch. So we checked out of our one hotel and immediately was able to check into the JW and get our room at like 11 a.m. That's like, woo, great. Which also meant we didn't actually go to registration until a little bit later, which actually was pretty good, because there was like no lines or anything, where we just went, got our badge, our welcome bag, and went straight to the vendor fair. And when I walked into the vendor fair room, I'm like, are they still setting up? Maybe they're not fully set up. This doesn't look like it's fully set up. It was a smaller room, a much smaller room. It was probably a third of the size of the conference room, maybe half the size of our conference room. But it was Zebra, Edding, and Pip Sticks were actually the vendors selling stuff. Laurel Denise was there. But she had like bags that she was giving out and you can write on them. So it was kind of more of like a crafting station. And then Callie Danielle had like a little wall set up where you could get like some pens and stuff. I think they went fast. They definitely went on day one, or day zero, however, like the registration day. And then they had 2 areas set up for photo ops. So they had like a bookish thing, which I didn't do. And then they had the confetti carpet. And I love the confetti carpet in this vendor fair because it was smaller and it was a lot emptier. I liked being able to do that instead of like trying to take your photo as people walk down the hallway, which always makes you a little nervous. So I really liked it having it in the vendor fair, was able to do a lot of retakes. So that was a plus. Like I said, I was originally disappointed in the vendor fair, but then I was like, I don't buy anything anyway, just because we get so much stuff. I was a little disappointed in the lack of photo ops, but again, that disappointment wore off pretty quick. It was like you walked in, you got disappointed, but then you walked around and like kind of mingled with people and stuff like that, and then you forgot. So then let's see. So the first night you have your welcome party. So Thursday night, there was a welcome party that started at 7. This was sponsored by Erin Condren this year. It was karaoke. Last year they had dueling pianos. I like walked in and then walked out and just sat out in the hallway. This year it was, it was karaoke, which I think is typically what people said usually is. I sat on the side with cupcakes, so I wasn't aware that there were other food options, but apparently there was like kind of like a charcuterie type station set up. There was also like a photo ops. There was like a place that actually said welcome party. I didn't take photos there, but from what I saw, it was hard lighting, so your photos really didn't turn out very well. But then they actually had a like professional photo stand, whereas like, I don't know if you went last year, I can't remember the name. Whatever. You like the thing takes a picture and you type in your text, your phone number, and it sends you a text message link to the photos. So that was there. So that was fun. I stayed pretty much until the end. The room cleared out pretty early though. I would say most people left halfway through. There was a swag drop. Don't know if that's the first time that's ever happened. It did not happen last year, but there was a swag drop. So that was pretty cool. I don't know. I thought it was kind of fun. I thought the karaoke was kind of fun. Did I karaoke? No, but I thought it was kind of fun. People did fun songs. So yeah. So we went back to the room, chilled, because, Friday is the day of the sponsored tables. The lines don't open till 6:30, but I learned last year when I got there at 6 and 500 people were already in front of me, that I need to get there a little bit early. So I was going to get there at 5:45 this year, a whole 15 minutes early. I probably left my room at 5:45, so I probably only actually got down there at like 5:50. And there was maybe 30 people in front of me, which was great. It was great. And the way they do the lines, like people stress out about the lines. They let groups in. They had like a line. So like I was in the first group, and then they had a second group beside us. And then I think they had like 3 or 4 groups in the main area, and then they had a line down the hallway. But doing that was a lot less stressful. So you could think 50 people get into the room at a time. So it's not a madhouse, and you really didn't feel rushed. So like when I walked into the room, now ADA did go in front of us. So we weren't technically the first people in the room. And there was a good number of people that qualified for the ADA, the accessibility early entrance. I would say that was probably 30, 50 people, maybe 30 people. I'm really bad at judging numbers. So you give or take something like that. But when we got in there, walked around, I picked a place that I was pretty sure I wanted to sit at, Archer and Olive. But then I was like, let me walk around. I just kind of want to see what other options there are. I would say just from walking around, I would say maybe I was walking around until like maybe the 4th or 5th group came in, and it was very calm. I was able to walk around without being in anybody's way and take photos and things like that. It was very calm. It was a lot calmer than last year. So yeah, really enjoyed that aspect of it. I will say I enjoyed the speakers much more this year than last year. Last year I did enjoy a lot of the speakers. So I enjoyed like VJ from Notique. I enjoyed Bonnie from Archer and Olive. I enjoyed the planner people last year. But we had some non-planner people. Martha Stewart, didn't really enjoy her. Didn't really like the guy from the Post Notes, whatever it was. Didn't really enjoy him either. Really did enjoy the Under the Desk News from Dallas, though. But this year I enjoyed everybody. Everybody was from the planner community except for the keynote speaker, and he was fabulous too. But yeah, everything was great. The speakers were great. Like I said, people in the community, they kind of know what we want to hear. So I thought the sessions were pretty relevant. I will also say the food. They have these energy breaks, so you get snacks, right? This year, the snacks were in the hallway right outside the door. I'm not going to really spend too much time comparing the snacks from last year to this year just because that's heavily based on the hotel. But the snacks this year did blow last year's out the water. They were great. I mean, like pigs in a blanket, nachos, pretzels, like they were fabulous. They were fabulous. I can't even remember everything we got, but they were like both days, the snacks were great. I was tempted to do seconds, but you didn't have enough time. So I only got one plate. But they were that good. Last year, but I said it had nothing to do with anything. It was just, that's what the hotel offers. So you can't really blame anybody for last year's snacks versus this year's. This year's was not sponsored. So the snacks this year's were not sponsored. So my ticket actually went to that, and I'm okay with that. I really am. It's nice to now kind of like see where my money went. So I'm fine with that. So yeah, love the snack break. You get like a 45-minute break right in the middle. It's like around, I think one day it was like 9:30, 9:45. And then the second day it was like 10:30. So right in the middle. The actual sessions last from like 8 until 1:30. So they're pretty long. And then you get a break from 2 until 7. And on Friday night, you have a wild crop. They actually had popcorn and drinks for you this year. I didn't try the popcorn. I heard it wasn't that great. Again, that's a hotel thing because that was provided by the hotel. But the crop, I wasn't a huge fan of it this year, and I was really excited because I love reading. So the book swap was part of the crop. So like the first 30 minutes of the crop from 7:30 to 8 were people getting their books. I was like the second to the last group, so I didn't even get to go and choose my book till like 7:50, and most of them were gone, but I got a good book. You probably saw that already. But so the actual like sessions, I guess you could say speakers started around 8. They had a speaker talk about annotations, or like annotating your books. I felt like that would have been a better session during the day. This late at night, I'm struggling. I'm struggling to stay awake. I'm exhausted. Woke up early. I'm done. Last year they had like doodling, like you doodled. We drew a frog. It was that stuff is kind of fun. And then like lights, planner, action. We colored and stuff like that. This year it was a lot more, it was harder to do the stuff. Like you really can't annotate on the spot. So I didn't really participate. I was just listening. And then the second one was like about reading journaling and things like that. And again, I really felt like I couldn't participate in that. I could have colored in the book or whatever. I did end up leaving probably a good 15, 20 minutes early. Like I said, I was exhausted. That's the only bad thing is these crops. You're already exhausted, so you really need really simplistic stuff. And the speakers were great. I thought the content was great. I think it probably could have been moved to one of the earlier ones, and maybe some of the fun sessions we did during the day could have been done at nighttime. Like on the second day, we like drew on a bag and stuff, and that was fun because you just sit there and you're just drawing and stuff like that. It keeps you awake and engaged type thing. So yeah, I think my favorite speakers would have been Mo from Pip 6, just because she talked about morning routines, and I'm like, like it just resonated with me. I'm trying to work on my morning routine, and she gave some really good advice. I also like John Green. I really like the keynote speaker this year. Very, very personable. He did kind of relate. He was talking about community, sense of community. He says he's part of a lot of nerd communities, and he really enjoys that. He did talk a little bit about his like, I don't really want to say activism, but he's really involved in like medical treatment. Was it Sri Lanka maybe? I can't remember now. Because his latest book, oh my gosh, I can't think the name. I am tired, y'all. But it's about tuberculosis, and it talks about like how it's a curable disease and so many millions of people are dying for it. So he did talk about that, but it was still fascinating. Did it have to do with planners? No, but it was fascinating. It's just the way he talks about it. Very engaging, really enjoyed him. So yeah, that wrapped up the sessions. Playing JAMA that night, just as good as always. Really good food this year. Again, the hotel was on point with that food. This was also not sponsored this year. So usually it's sponsored by Happy Planner. This year it was not. So again, the cost of my ticket, I'm assuming, went to that. And I'm great. I'm fine with it. It helps me feel like I could justify that price tag. It was great. It was open bar. I felt like the lines weren't that bad. I was really worried about that, but with only like 600 people, I think it was fine. Oh my gosh, if it was like 2,000 people, you would have never gotten a drink because they wouldn't have added probably that many more bars because space is still the issue. So that was a plus. The DJ on fire as always, great. Had a lot of fun dancing. Yeah, so that was kind of my conference experience. I will say the only thing I kind of regret this year is I don't regret it, but because it was like go, 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 I wanted to like see everything and do everything as far as like Indianapolis. I didn't like hang out as much like in the lobby. Like last year, I went by myself. So I was trying to meet people and I would just like sit in the lobby and hope someone came and talked to me and wanted to be my friend. But it worked out. So this year it was just, we had so much to go and see. I didn't get to hang around a lot. So like you can see in like a lot of the photos, last year I had so many photos with people. I just didn't get to take that many photos with people. I like chatted it up with all of my table mates. I just didn't get to meet as many people outside of that other than when we were like hanging out, waiting to go into sessions or coming out of sessions. So like that's the one thing I'm going to personally change next year is I'm going to try to like find some time to hang out. It's going to be so hard though because we're being in New Orleans and I'm going to want to just go there too because there's just so much to do. We try to recruit people to go out with us, but because it was Indianapolis, people came in on Thursday and then they left early Sunday. So no one really wanted to do anything at nighttime. But me and my roommate and my two other friends that we had met last year, we all went out Saturday night. We walked our way down to downtown, hit up some clubs and had a good old time. So yeah, like I said, that definitely made my experience a little bit better too. I kind of enjoyed it a little bit more than Dallas. I really enjoyed Dallas. I think the one thing, like I said, Dallas had over this one is I felt even though Dallas was bigger, there were a lot of smaller meetups. And those smaller meetups happened on Thursday, like the day of the registration before the welcome party. There was a lot of meetups then. But then there were also other meetups throughout. Like there were patron meetups and not just like, some of these were just like informal. Hey, we're going to meet here. We're going to meet at this restaurant. Like you pay your way, but like this is where we're going to meet. And those are so good because you just get to meet people that you might not be sitting with or you might not run into. So you're getting to meet a whole other group of people. So that is the one thing I enjoyed so much more from Texas than I enjoyed here. Also in the Facebook groups last year, there were also like side chats, like people started like messaging groups. So like if you were like into Moxie Life, there was like a Moxie Life group, but people would just send chats and be like, hey, I want to go to dinner tonight. Anybody want to meet up? So you had that plus the app. There was an app last year that worked that people was able also to use for that kind of stuff. This year, the app didn't really work. We didn't even get access to it till like a day before. So yeah, we really didn't get to use it. So there really wasn't a way to kind of do that kind of communication. Yes, it was a smaller group, so maybe they didn't find the need to do meetups. But I really appreciated that last year. So that was kind of my only like win for Dallas over Indianapolis. But other than that, I think I enjoyed Indianapolis more. So that's all I have to say. It was a lot, but am I going to continue going? Yes, I'm going to go to New Orleans. I'm going to have to take a break though after that because it's expensive. But yeah, I think that's it. So I think I'm going to just pop back to like regular speed and kind of wrap it up now. All right, y'all. I think I'm going to call it done for now. So I had a lot of fun with this. I went a little overboard. I went at this a little bit longer than I had anticipated. So like I said, I added the hotel pictures here. I actually stayed in another hotel the night before. So I might put some information on there. I might add like a little thing here. The key card. This was, like I said, this little plastic holder was a table mate gift. I'm going to put some information about my roommate here. Then I'm going to just journal here. Then here we go. Just some photos, random photos. I think there's some more, so I might end up adding some more. Fill that out later. So this was the welcome. This was like kind of just random day 1 pictures or day 0 pictures, however you want to say that Thursday is. Here's some welcome party pictures. Didn't take too many pictures at the welcome party, just at the photo booth, and then some pictures with a few people I met. Like I said, I didn't take that many pictures. Last year I took so many pictures. This year I just did not take that many. This was the first day there, so this, I loved how this turned out. This was so fun. This is kind of like my scrapbooking, junk journaling. Like, there's my debut, y'all. And then this is my junk. This is like junk journaling perfection for me. For me. I was surprised how well this turned out. So y'all saw me do the bag and the coloring page. I might actually try to color it in, but I kind of like the way it looks. It's so funny. I did a 2-page spread and I have 4 photos. Yes, I do. That's all I have, but that's fine. It's perfectly fine. I wanted all the little stuff here. The little dragon blowing out the candles. Like, they gave me glitter that I had to use to blow out the candle because he didn't have any fire or something. There was like a cute little story with it. And then that's Saturday. So I'm going to do Planjama, and then Saturday night, which Saturday night we continue the party and head it to downtown Indianapolis. So, and then I'll just have the Indy 500 photos, and then what I did on Sunday, we went to like a really nice restaurant, and then I'll do randoms, and then I will do contact cards. And I'll do contact cards pretty much the same way I did contact cards last year. I think I already showed you guys, just like that. So yeah, that's it. This was fun. Oh, so I'm going to have a lot of pages left, but am I going to be able to use them all, y'all? Look at that. That's what happens when you use photos and junk journaling stuff. But this is so much fun. This was so much fun to create. That's why I kind of went a little extra and did some extra stuff. I do hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed the way I did it, but kind of doing my recap as a voiceover while I kind of did some memory keeping. I need to remember. I'm going to go ahead and cut this and put this in here too. This is what I do with my travel journals too. I'll get ideas and I'll just like throw them in here so I remember to use them. But yeah, see, get sidetracked. But there we go, guys. I think that's a wrap on Go Wild 2025. I hope you enjoyed these videos. If you did, please press that like button. And if you have yet to subscribe, I hope you would also consider subscribing to my channel. That is all I have for now. I hope you have a good rest of your day, evening or night. Until next time, bye.